2019 with the defendant Trevor Summers.
It is.
State offers in evidence Exhibit Z.
Mr. Summers?
Just object to all previous objections.
Okay. Same rulings, so it will be admitted at this time.
Judge, the special instruction would need to be read at this time.
I know it's up here somewhere. Again, members of the jury, you are about to listen to an audio recording. The court instructs you that the recording has been edited to eliminate irrelevant portions that would not add to your understanding of this case. The fact that the recording has been edited should not concern you in any way and must not impact the way you listen to and consider this evidence. You may publish.
Okay, this is Detective Remia of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, conducting interviews on case number 17-176669. Today is March the 13th. It is approximately 13:10 hours. The subject of the interview is Trevor Summers. Trevor, would you say your full name for me and your birthday?
Trevor Stephen Summers. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
If you can hear me. Trevor Stephen Summers. June 20, 1977.
Okay. And also present for you is Deputy Hess. That's what's ready in.
202-995.
We are currently sitting in one of the emergency room bays at Tampa General Hospital. I know you get to bay 5B in the trauma section. Trevor, before I came in here and turned on my recorder, I told you I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what happened this weekend.
Sure.
Okay? And before I ask you any questions, because you are in custody, because you're not free to leave, obviously, when you're in the hospital, but you're in our custody, I have to advise you of your Miranda right. I'm going to read them to you, and you tell me if you understand them, okay? Okay. You have the right to remain silent. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You understand that one?
Yes.
All right. You have the right to consult with an attorney before you make a statement or answer any questions, and the right to have an attorney present during questioning. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. If you want an attorney but cannot afford to hire an attorney, one will be appointed to represent you before and during questioning free of charge. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. You may use any of these rights at any time before or during questioning, and you may stop the interview at any time. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand all these rights as I've read them to you?
I do.
Okay. Are you willing to answer my questions and make a statement without a lawyer present?
Yes.
Okay. Has anybody coerced you or promised you or threatened you or said anything of that nature to get you to agree with me to answer my questions?
No.
Okay. We'll start pretty basic. If you don't mind just telling me what happened.
Let's see. Friday night, it started a while ago. It started back in January when my wife started online dating.
Okay.
I got upset about it the day I found out. It was a Wednesday in middle of January. I was upset because she put pictures of my kids on the online dating website,
Okay.
as well as where she worked, which allowed her to have people easily find her. She came over that day to my house. I asked her to please take it down. She did take pictures of the kids down, and then she took off where she worked. But she wouldn't take the dating profile down.
Okay.
She said she would put it up just to meet men in general, make friends. And then a couple weeks later, I found her on another dating website, and I asked her about it. She said she didn't mean to leave it up, and that she would take it down, and that she wasn't dating, and she was just talking to a few guys. A couple weeks later, she came over and talked. We were in the middle of talking about a marriage settlement agreement. So she came over on a Friday night before Valentine's Day. We talked for a while, no issues, everything was good. She admitted to going on a date and kissing a guy and going back to his house and watching a movie or something. She came over the next night, Saturday night before Thanksgiving, or Valentine's Day. And we talked a little bit, but she was tired, so she asked me to she laid in bed with me and asked me to just hold her, so I did. And she left, no issues. We went out to dinner on Valentine's Day, went back to her house, talked, kissed a little bit. Everything's fine, no issue. She asked me to leave, I left.
This was at her house?
Yes, at her house.
Okay. Where'd you go for dinner?
We went to Mitchell's, I think it's called Mitchell's Seafood in downtown Tampa by the West Fort Mall, I think it is. Westfield Mall, maybe? No, not Westfield. Down off Kennedy Boulevard.
I think I know where it's at. It's okay.
There's a Maggiano's there, I know that too. That Friday night, after Valentine's Day, she came over, we were talking more about the marriage settlement agreement, different components like, time sharing with the kids and monetary and alimony and all that stuff. And we ate dinner, and she admitted to more dating stuff. And before she left, we had sex. That Saturday, let me go back. Valentine's Day, my older two kids, who are 12 and 14, were complaining about her being texting and video chatting and stuff. And I asked her to please not do that around the kids. And she convinced me that she wasn't doing that. It was just platonic. It was just friends.
Okay.
And so I told my kids the next day on Wednesday, this is what Mom said. Just, you need to believe her. And my son, who's 12, didn't believe her. And they were with her that weekend. That Friday night, he took her phone and took pictures of everything in her phone. He sent me a few things and just told me, look, I told you so. What I saw was a lot more than dating. She's actually telling guys she loved them, and I don't know, it's a lot more than what she led me to believe.
Sure.
She came over that Saturday, I don't know, around 1:15. I asked her about this stuff, and then she started to admit about it. She said she regrets it, she's going to end it. We had sex, then mobile notary came. We reached an agreement on our marriage settlement agreement. We had a drink. We walked around, talked about and possibly even just finishing divorce and starting over. We had sex again for hours, fell asleep, woke up. I made us some dinner, and I didn't know how the day was going to turn out. I was pretty upset with her when I found out all this stuff. I had actually had a machete just in my bedroom, and when she didn't want to keep talking, I got it out and told her we need to keep talking. I didn't hurt her or anything.
Why would you get, if you just wanted her to talk, why would you bring a machete into the conversation?
Just so she would stay and talk. So I threatened her with it.
When you had the machete, did you say anything specific to her?
Just sit on the bed, let's keep talking. And she did. So we calmly talked for, I don't know, three hours or so until about 10 o'clock. And she left. I let her leave, you know. But she promised me she was going to end it with this guy. And
What day was this?
this was February 18th.
Okay.
She actually called the police that night,
Mm-hmm.
rightfully so. I wasn't forthright with them about everything that happened. I used the excuse that she was making this up to get me put in jail. So that following week we got restraining orders, or not restraining orders, temporary injunctions against each other.
Correct.
The kids were with me, which everything fine with that. I'm just giving you cliff notes. There's a lot more detail.
That's okay. And I appreciate the background. It helps me to understand kind of what's going on. But specifically, when you want to go into more detail about Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this week.
So, my kids have been complaining all week that they wanted to see her. I really didn't want them to see her because she's been lying to them about the dating and the guys. And I convinced my daughter to let me come say bye. I was literally going to leave town Saturday. So I convinced my daughter to let me in to say bye to my wife.
And this was this weekend?
Friday night. It was really Saturday because it was 3 a.m. Saturday.
Okay.
So my daughter left the window open for me, my 14-year-old daughter. My son rode with me. Youngest kids were with her, and the youngest one was actually at home sleeping at my house. So my kids and I were communicating, two older kids and me were communicating while I was there. My wife, I was trying to wake her up because I didn't want to startle the two little kids that were sleeping with her. Finally, she did wake up, freaked out a little bit because I was there. She knows I'm not supposed to be there because of the temporary injunction.
Mm-hmm.
I just made her go in the living room, sit down on the couch. She fought with me a little bit. I fought back. So I got
When you say you made her go in, would you just yell at her? What'd you do?
No, I put my arm around her waist and walked her into the living room.
Okay.
That's why I got scratches on me. She calmed down, and I just explained, I can't deal with all this. I'm just going to leave town. I explained how years ago I had put a lot of money away, offshore accounts, and I was going to go and just live in the islands. So we argued, and then she calmed down, and then we argued and calmed down. Finally, around 5 o'clock, my two older kids were still outside. They're like, we're tired, we want to go home. I had been teaching them how to drive. So I had them come in. They're already very angry with their mother because of the lies she was telling them.
Okay.
So they took the two little kids with them, and they drove my car back to my house in Riverview.
Okay.
From Valrica to Riverview.
Which one of them drove, the 14 or the 12?
14. And I stayed with my wife, we talked, and then we fell asleep, and then we talked, and we fell asleep. I think on Saturday all day, mainly we were in her room. Well, I'm going to go back a little bit. I was going to go with my kids. I was going to drive them home to my house. But I said, you're going to call the police as soon as I leave. And she said, no, I promise I won't. And I said, well, I don't trust you. So I said, I'm going to have to tie you up. So I said, I'll tie you up. I'll call somebody and let them know you're tied up. By that time, I'll be gone. Well, I don't think I tied her good enough, so I walked outside with the kids. By the time I got back inside, she was already mostly out of the...
What did you tie her up with?
Just some rope, some nylon rope. That's a nylon rope on her body, and then I found some strings of Christmas lights in the garage and tied that to the bed around her.
Okay.
So I came back in and she was halfway out and she was freaked out. And I said, well, obviously I didn't do a good job. I said, let's just, let's keep talking. So we talked and talked, ate some food. The whole time I didn't understand. She didn't try to run out of the house, out of the window. She took a couple cigarette breaks. My head's just spinning. I'm like, I don't know. And then we had sex 4 times. Consensual. It wasn't forced, nothing. Completely consensual.
Well, for you, I got to ask, if you guys are in the middle of getting a divorce and separating and divvying up property and the kids and what have you, that would lead me to believe that there's issues between the two of y'all. But the way you're explaining it, where you guys would have sex on a regular basis,
I know.
I'm confused.
This is what messed with my head, and I think this is what broke me mentally. Was she's telling me she loves me, she's telling me we can work it out, we're having sex, but then she's dating, but then she wants to go full with the divorce. So I really can't explain. She'll have to explain why she's back and forth like that. Like I said, we fell asleep at one point for like 3 hours. She could have got up and left.
Mm-hmm.
Just called the police, anything. But she didn't. That's why. I don't understand. I don't understand that. Finally, around 8 o'clock, I was like, all right, I gotta go. I gotta go say bye to the kids. And I said, you gotta give me time to leave, to get out of here. And she said she would. I said, okay, I'm gonna tie you up again. And she willingly let me tie her up. So this time I put her hands to her sides and wrapped her in a sheet first, and then tied the rope around that. And then she said something that made me mad, and I said, well, what are you gonna do?
What did she say to make you mad?
Something about she's gonna press charges against my parents, and my oldest daughter is going to go to jail for letting me in, and our son's going to go to boarding school or something like that. And this is not their fault. They had nothing to do with this. I convinced them. There's nothing. They're not part of this. Our son's had a problem with her since she left in October, because when she left him at home. So he's had an issue with her since then, and he's spent most of his time with me during the separation.
So you're at the house, you're getting ready to leave, tie her up, wrap her in a sheet?
Wrapped her in a sheet, tied those ropes around her again, and then tied those to the bed. Then she started mouthing off about this, that, and the other. I said, I can end this right now. And I just grabbed the pillow and put it over her face, and I just listened to her, and I couldn't do that.
When you said you could end this right now and grab the pillow, what were you going to do?
Well, I was just being an ass and, pretending like I could suffocate her.
So you put the pillow over her face or no?
Yeah, I put the pillow over her face.
Did you How hard did you press down on her?
Well, I just held it with my hands. And then,
But she's tied up at this point?
yeah, she's tied up. And I took it off and I said, can you just relax? Can you calm down? And she said, you know what? Why don't I just go with you? And so I said, you really want to go with me? You want to leave the country with me? And she said, yeah. And I said, okay. I said, so, well, let's pack a bag. So I went to the garage, grabbed the suitcase, she went in her closet, her drawers, put just some stuff with her in
You
there.
had to untie her for that, or she got out by herself?
No, I got tired.
Okay.
And so I said, all right, let's go then. You really, I said, the kids will be fine. Our pastor and his wife could take care of them, or my parents. I said, the kids will be fine. I said, really, they don't deserve either one of us. We're both bad parents. And she agreed. And so then we got everything ready. She got her purse ready, grabbed her phone, charged her phone. And I said, well, are you going to, I said, you're going to do anything dumb? I said, should I at least tie your hands so you don't do anything dumb in the car? She's like, yeah, you can tie my hands. So I tied her hands behind her back. We walked out front door. I helped her get in the passenger seat. I went back inside, grabbed a few water bottles, got her suitcase, locked the door. And
Whose car was this?
her car.
Was that the Saturn?
Yeah, sorry. And she'd actually been feeling a little sick because she was in Pennsylvania the weekend before, visiting her grandma and her parents and family. And she caught a cold or something. So her nose is running and she's not feeling good. She had actually taken a little medicine while we were, some cold medicine while we were at her house. But it was all gone. So I said, well, do you want me to stop at the store? We'll get some more. She's like, yeah. So I go walk in and then I look out and she's running around the parking lot.
Now, let me ask you this. Her address, that's the one in Brentwood Hills, or is that your address?
That's her. She's in Belgrade County, yeah.
So that's where you went in, that's where you tied her up, that's where everything happened then.
Yeah.
How did you end up at the Fish Hawk Walgreens?
That's the route I took to get to my house. She was going to go to my house first.
And where do you live at?
Riverview. Newbury Grove Loop, Riverview.
What subdivision is that?
Panther Trace.
Okay.
So, I said I'd stop at Walgreens and get her some more, just over-the-counter cold medicine. And, I just walked in, looked her up, turned back, and she's running around the parking lot. So I grabbed her and put her back in the car and said, what are you doing?
When she was running around, you saw her. Did anybody see you go out and grab a hold of her?
Yeah, there was I think it was an employee.
Did anybody say anything to you?
No, he didn't say anything, but I think he dialed the police.
What did you say to her when you grabbed a hold of her?
I just said, you need to get back in the car. You told me you'd go. Knock this off, you're going to get us in trouble. Get back in the car. So, I put her back in the car. Her hands are still tied. So I put her back in the car. Put the
Her hands tied in front or behind her?
behind her. Put the seatbelt back on her. And then there was an extra piece of string hanging off, so I tied that to the seat.
Okay.
Closed the door, got back in, and said, okay, I'm not getting cold medicine. And I said, I'm pretty sure he called the police, so I don't think we can go to our house now, so we're not going to be able to say bye to the kids. So then I took a meandering path. Gosh, I can't even tell you the roads I took. I know we went south and then east and then south, and I ended up going through Arcadia to Route 70 down, got to Bradenton, and then I took a right on, I don't even know the road, but I saw a couple side streets, like dirt roads.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, look, I'm dead tired, I can't make it to the marina.
What marina were you going to?
I was going to go to Little Harbor and catch a charter.
Did you have something set up already or no?
No. But I knew a couple of people there that would get me to. There's a whole thing where immigrants come in and out, and so I was going to catch a boat to the islands and go from there and make my way over to St. Kitts and Nevis.
But you didn't. Nobody was waiting on you with a boat to go. You were going to secure all that when you got there, or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just pulled down this road. There was a little clearing, looked like a construction company had some old equipment there. I parked there, and we both went to sleep.
I'm pretty sure you said earlier that you went down State Road 70. Are you sure it was State Road 70?
Yeah, let me back up. Before we got to Arcadia, there was, I don't know, maybe a 64, 62. There's another road that runs, I think, parallel 70. Because we went west on it, and I turned down one road there, and I threw her, we shut our phone off, because our phones were going off with restricted calls, so I figured it was the police. So I threw her phone in the woods.
Do you remember what it looked like where you threw her phone? Was there any signage? Was there a bridge? Was there...
It's a little dirt road with one of those cattle gates, maybe 500 feet down the lane.
Okay.
Threw her phone, and then headed back east on that same road, a couple miles, turned down another road, which was a paved road. Then it turned into a dirt road. There was a bridge with a stream. I think it was a farm back there. It was right before a firehouse. So I went down, turned my phone off, and threw my phone in the woods.
Okay.
She got out of her, at that point she got out of her wrist, I tied her up by her wrist.
Right.
And she's like, "Can you please just let me out?" I had tied it tight. Had the knife, or not a knife, I had a little utility knife razor blade. And I wanted to cut her off her wrist, and I cut her wrist.
Was the intent to cut her wrist or just to cut the restraints off?
I was cut the restraint off. I missed, and it didn't go deep. I don't think it went deep. I didn't really look at it real close, but she bled a little bit, and then she got in the car, and I took the ropes off, the strings off her. It's really like a string. It's not really a rope. And then she just held pressure on it. It stopped bleeding an hour later. But initially, it was a good amount of blood. Her sweater sleeve soaked it up. That sweater's in the car. After that, we drove, I don't know how many miles east on that 62, 64, whatever it was, and then we hit 17 and went south on 17 until it hit 70. There's a traffic light there in Arcadia, hit 70. Drove west on 70 for a while. We passed Panther Ridge, which is a housing community down there, and then it's not a hard right. There's like emerging, like a self-sweeping right to go up this other road that takes you back up through Paris to like 301. I think maybe it connects to 64 or 301. That's where we pulled off, and we slept.
Was she tied up at that point?
No, I didn't tie her up anymore.
Did you have the machete with you?
No,
Just a box cutter?
just that little. Yeah, it's a utility blade for a utility knife. That's all it was. And then we didn't really bring enough water with us. We fell asleep Saturday night there, woke up. She could have got out kind of time again and just ran. I mean, there was a house 1,000 feet from us.
Right.
I'm sure people lived there if the lights were on at night.
So you're under the impression now that she wanted to be with you, or she was okay being with you?
She was okay. She still wanted to go with me, leave the country. So, Sunday morning we woke up. We didn't have anything else to eat or drink other than like some dried cranberry crackers. But I didn't want to drive under daylight. So I said, I'm pretty sure, there's calls are from the police. I'm pretty sure they're looking for us. And I told her, I don't know what you want. I really don't. I'm confused. I don't know what you want. Do you want to go with me? Do you want to stay here? Do you want to just go back to our house and tell the police this was all a mistake? I said, what do you want to do? And she couldn't really think of what she wanted to do, and she just said, no, I want to be with you. I said, okay, well, where? Here or in the island? And she's like, well, I really want to be with the kids. So then we talked, started making our story on what we would tell the police. You know.
Well, how did you end up in Little Harbor?
I'll get to that. We had sex on Sunday.
In the car?
In the car. I gave her oral sex. She had an orgasm. We had regular sex. And she had an orgasm. And I said, you know, I don't get it. We're together. Everything's good. Our love life's good. And I kept telling her, this dating while you're still married, going through divorce, you broke my head. You know, I asked you for the truth, and you don't tell me the truth. So by sundown, we were both really thirsty. We had a few empty water bottles in the car. We walked, cut across the stream. We got all muddy, and walked all the way up a farm road around a big field. And we found an outhouse that had a big gallon of good water and a sink. We filled our water bottles up, drank some water, filled them up.
And whereabouts was this?
It was right next to where we parked the car.
And that was off 301 somewhere, is that right?
Not 301. There's a road that runs north and south between 70 and either 64 or 301. And a lot of farms out there and stuff. So we walked down the field, got water, went back to the car, talked a little more, fell asleep for the night. And then we said, well, let's leave around like 5, 6 in the morning. We'll head towards, first I said, let's go to Anna Maria Beach. So I think there's a charter we can get there. And then she's like, oh, I really don't want to go now. So now she's going back to just wanting me to drop me off, and then she's going to go back home. And I said, well, why do you change your mind again? So we drove back down south to 70, took 70 to 75, up to 64, drove all the way into Anna Marie. Right before Anna Marie, there's a boat ramp there. We parked. Sunlight starting to come up, and she wanted me to write out some things. And she said if I did that, then she wouldn't tell the police anything. So I wrote out, that she can have the house, the car, the money, whatever I left here. She said, all right. So, and then she wanted me to write or no, she didn't want me like that. Then we drove around Anna Maria all the way up to the north side, down the bay side, looking for the charter. Couldn't find it. I knew there was one in Little Harbor that I could take. I said, well, so let's just go back up to Little Harbor. So I drove back down 64, took the business 41 over, caught back up with 41, turned down the road off of 41 to Little Harbor, and then she wanted me to find a spot to pull over. She wanted to talk, so I pulled over in Little Harbor, and I think she saw somebody or something. She's like, you better just write a confession out because you're going to get caught. And I said, probably are. So I said, I really want you to go with me, and she just wouldn't go. So left Little Harbor, drove down to the end of the street, pulled in not an abandoned, probably a rental house or something, parked underneath.
Did you know whose house it was? You didn't.
No,
it's not your house.
Just a random. No, just a random house. There wasn't any cars there, so I just turned underneath, and I just figured somebody's going to be there soon because she has OnStar in her car. I don't know why it took them so long to find us. And then I said, you know, I can't kill you. I can't hurt you. I said, I can't live this life, you know. I said, so I'll lay my life down for you, and grabbed my old knife and started cutting my neck.
Is that when the deputy showed up?
Yeah.
Okay. It was a pretty good job of putting it all together. I mean, I got a pretty clear picture, so I appreciate that. There's only one question I have, and while you were at the house, while you were at her house, which I'm guessing is the house that at some point you all shared, yes? Or did she move out of the house and live with her?
Yeah, she moved out of the house.
Okay. So at her house in Brentwood Hills, when you had her tied up, did your parents come by that house?
No.
So your parents never came by? Did anybody else come by?
No. Just my kids are outside in the car.
So the whole time that she's tied up, the kids were either outside in the car or they took the car and went to your house.
Yeah.
But nobody else came inside the house.
Yeah. No, I didn't tell her that my kids drove the car. I told her my parents had picked them up.
Okay. So you told her the kids were gone because your mom and dad got them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't want her to freak out about the kids driving the car.
Well, I guess that would upset her a little bit.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? I mean, why couldn't you just walk away from her? Why did you have to tie her up? Why did you have to go break into the house, sneak into the house? I guess would be a better way to say.
Well, I snuck into the house just to say bye, you know, and I just wanted to.
Even though she's got an injunction against you and you have one against her.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, I don't know, you know, the things she's told me in recent weeks and the way she's acted, you still think there's a hope, a chance, something.
But her using dating apps and what have you, or dating other men, or seeing other men, or doing whatever with other men, that's what's upsetting to you.
No, it's upsetting that she kept lying about it.
Not the fact that she's dating, but she's lying to you about it.
Right.
Because you're all in the process of divorce, it is what it is.
Yeah.
What's the reason for the divorce itself?
She said I've abandoned the marriage.
What about, you said earlier something about money and offshore accounts. Do you still have money out there?
Yeah.
Is that what you would, if you were able to leave the country, is that what you would have used to kind of sustain yourself for a while?
Yep.
How much money you have over there?
$4.5 million.
How much?
$4.5 million.
$4.5 million. What exactly did you do for a living to make $4.5 million?
Years,
I mean, a long line of work.
years ago, I worked with a commercial. We started a commercial development company, and I put a lot of money offshore.
Is there anything else that you want to say, or anything else that I haven't asked that you think is important?
I explained to my wife how, you know, not just with me, but, you know, with the guy she's dating and other guys, the way she says things and does things makes them think different than what her intentions are. So either she's...
I think she's naive.
No.
Let me do this. Because they got to come in and I think they got to get information from you for the hospital and whatnot. So, is there anything else in regards to the weekend, the trip down to Manatee, the tying up in the house, the Christmas lights, the kids, the drive, or anything else that we haven't discussed or I haven't asked? Do you feel that everything you told me is accurate and is complete?
It's all accurate. Yeah. I mean, I can get into details about specific conversations if you want to.
I think we'll worry about that here in a bit. The last thing I'll ask is, everything you told me is true. Right? You're not lying, you're not exaggerating, or what have you.
No, it's all true.
Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the interview at 1:50.
Okay.
So, Sergeant, your interview with him began at 1:10 p.m. and ended at 1:50 p.m.?
Yes, ma'am. Excuse me. Yes, ma'am.
And the location that he states that he threw the victim's phone, did you assist in any further investigation with regards to that? Are you aware where her phone was ultimately found?
Yes, I assisted with that portion of it.
And was that the location in which her phone, Miss Elisa Summers' phone, was located?
Yes.
Is that when Miss Summers took you to that location?
Yes.
When you were in that area doing that drive multiple times, night, daytime, did you ever see a house in the Manatee area 1,000 feet from where they would have been parked?
No, I did not.
After you concluded your interview with the defendant, what did you do? Did you update Detective Steele with regards to his statements?
Yes.
Did you assist Detective Steele then in driving to the Manatee County area with Elisa Summers, and is that when you ultimately located her phone?
Yes, it is.
Did you were you also there when